has achieved what I have achieved, and nobody after me is likely to do so either. Sometimes when you're living through a storm like this, you don't even know what you're living through. Now, God did this to me because I believe that God is involved in all of this. The hand of God is all over this. And although this trial has not been easy thus far, I have not quit, have I? I haven't pulled the covers over my head, not gotten up one morning and said I can't take it anymore, because I am like a street weed. And the tougher they are with me, the more I'll grow. I really will fight this to the end because I know I'm right. And just as David was right and Goliath was wrong, just as when a big guy picks on a little guy, the little guy will always win because the little guy is usually right. And the big guy is a bully. And I'm being bullied by a whole government. And I'm not walking away so fast. Remember, Jackie Smith, who did this to me, was fired because she became an embarrassment to Gordon Brown. She's gone, isn't she? So she was the first victim of their own campaign against freedom. In other words, she was hung by her own petard. Now you got Gordon Brown himself. The emails that I disclose in Banned in Britain show clearly that his minions said, yes, we should put Savage on the list because the PM and the foreign minister both want him on the list. He personally put me on this list. I appealed to him in a full-page letter last July or June, I don't know, in a British newspaper. I appealed to him to remove my name from that list. He would not do so. Instead, he released a Lockerbie bomber to go home to a hero's welcome, a man who killed or engineered the killing of over 250 people. But a man who simply expressed conservative viewpoints, including borders, language, and culture, is so offensive that he's not permitted into a nation? You don't find that shocking? You don't find that offensive? You don't find that frightening? You don't find that chilling? How can a liberal not even understand this? So I ask you, should I go, and what will they entrap me with? San Diego Jeff, go ahead, please.
Yeah, Mike, it's an invitation. I mean, first of all, when you say it is an honor that the Cambridge Union invited you, and I'm not trying to take that away from you, but it's not a green light invitation. It comes with conditions. I think it's a joke, and I think it reeks of somebody higher up trying to appease you by saying, why don't we invite him via webcast? I think it's almost an insult that they're inviting you under these conditions. You shouldn't. The point is, they're listening to you for one. And
so hold on. Let me read you the letter so that you know what they said. Hold on a minute. The debate will take place in Cambridge on Thursday, 15th October, 2009. You could either address the society by live video link or, pending any revisions of your legal status, in person.
Any revisions of your legal status, meaning that we're going to throw that in as if we're actually going to do anything about your legal status. Well,
I understand your skepticism. You don't trust them any more than I trust the American media. But remember, we went through this when the New Yorker author, remember, I didn't mention his name of the publication. I said a major league publication wants to come out and interview me, and we debated whether I should accept, and most of you said don't. They're going to set you up. Remember that?
Yes.
I don't know if you were listening at that time, but eventually I decided to accept that offer from the New Yorker because I felt that the author, having been a music critic for 7 years, was an open-minded individual. And I was right, wasn't I? He did a fairly good article about me. In fact, it's so good that the illegitimate left vermin scum from hell are now attacking the New Yorker for not attacking me, to show you how tolerant they are, these politically correct vermin. Don't get me started on political correctness. They're all Nazis, every one of them. And I will remind you that Hitler had a politically correct society. Kim Jong-il has a politically correct society. Fidel and Raul Castro have a politically correct society right now. Shall I go down the list? You want to live in such a society? Well, don't count me in with you because I'm not going to be there with you. I don't want to live there with you. Green Bay, Wisconsin. Elizabeth, you're up. Go ahead. Should I take it or not?
I think you absolutely have to go. I mean, if you don't, they're going to hold that up like a flag wave and see, we're right to ban him in England and he's afraid to defend himself. Yeah, they're going to try to bait you. That's what they're about. But you're an intelligent person. You're a very articulate person. I think you can handle anything.
Well, how are they going to trip me up? What could they possibly say to me to make me look like a fool?
I think they're going to try to throw in that these boneheads in government and some of these top stations are knocking you down or attempting to knock you down. and trying to play you down. But
remember, hold on now. This is a debate. It's not an argument or, kind of a typical interview on television. It's a debating society. Remember what it is. It has rules. So they make a statement, and I have to respond to it. Their position is political correctness is sane and necessary. They want me to speak in opposition of that motion.
And they're going to try to say that by being non-politically correct, which I absolutely agree, and you can be polite. You are one of the most polite commentators out there. People just think you're not because they don't like your point of view. But I feel that they're going to go, well, the government doesn't listen to you because, you're not politically correct, and that's where you've got to go, well, yeah, I'm not a sheep.
All right, I hear you. I'm not sure. Oh, I meant to give the young lady a copy of Band of Britain. I'm sorry. Should I go or not go? Yes or no? What will they say to trip me up? I'm asking you, the audience. You're a very intelligent audience. I don't need to ask experts. I'm asking you. You're the experts. My audience is the most educated audience in talk radio. I know that for a fact. We've done analysis of demographics. We know this. So you have the capacity to tell me what you think they're going to throw at me. I don't need an expert to tell me. I pretty much am so fast on my feet that I don't really have to prepare for it at all. It's not like I'm worried about it. I mean, I can go there. You can put 10 of them in front of me. No matter what they say, I'm going to spin them because I can, because they're wrong. There's no defense of political correctness. Do you understand that it's indefensible in a free society? It's defensible in North Korea or Cuba, as I said to you. How can you defend political correctness in a free society? Tell me how. Take the other side. Defend it. Go ahead and take it. Take the other side and defend political correctness, if you will. That would be as interesting as anything we do. We could do that in the next hour. Go and defend political correctness, if you will, either because you really believe it or because you want to play devil's advocate. There are some pretty smart people out there, lawyers, professors, truck drivers. Usually the truck drivers are smarter than any of them because they have more time on the road with rolling wheels to think through things. So what do you think? New York City, WOR. Pat, go ahead, please. You're on the Savage Nation.
Hi, Dr. Savage. I think you absolutely have to go to Britain, possibly in person, if possible, to defend yourself and all of us out here who believe in you, because you're like the only light out there in the media.
Well, all right, I hear you. Well, I think I'm going to accept. I mean, I may accept by video link. I'm not allowed to go there. After all, I'm such a dangerous man. Apparently, they let a murderer in there. He's actually member of parliament. Although he smashed in the head of a 4-year-old Jewish child, the British love him.
Well, this is our...
Do you know that I'm on a list with a man who killed 2 parents and then found the child they were hiding in an attic, as was done in Hitler's Germany, and then this member of parliament in Hamas, this Hamas member of parliament, then found their baby that they hid in a crawl space and smashed her head in with a rifle butt. He spent 10 years in an Israeli prison for that, and they put me on a list with that man. Can you imagine this? Can you imagine such a disgraceful thing to do to me, a member of the American media? But what's even more disgraceful is that the members of the American media, such as those on Fox News, and I'm focusing only on them, still refuse to cover this story. What does that tell you about them? It speaks volumes about Fox News, I would think.
They lose all credit.
I got to tell you something, a quick story. Last night after the show, it was a hot, beautiful night, so I walked along the waterfront of San Francisco. And I got to tell you, there's a part of the city I didn't even know was there. I mean, I knew it was. I never go there because I'm set in my ways. I went from the ferry terminal all the way down to Alioto's by foot. It looks like Pike Street Market now, stores and delis and groceries and bars and clam house. I couldn't believe how beautiful it was. And you can walk all around the water. So I stopped at my friend's place. I haven't been there in a while, the waterfront. And I went in for 2 drinks. First, I wasn't drinking. It's a funny story in a way. I said, okay, I can't do this anymore. I'm not going to drink right after a show. I'm going to take a long walk. But the further I went along the wharf, the more tired I got and the thirstier I got. So by the time I hit the first station of the cross, the waterfront, and my friend who owns it was there. He jumped, Michael, come on in. He said, let me buy you a drink. I said, no, I really shouldn't. I'm taking a long walk. I said, all right, I'll take a drink. Well, one drink led to another, and he said to me, I really respect the fact that you have to defend yourself. I listened to your show. You did a great job. Defend yourself. You're the only one who can do it, so do it. Then I wound up at Alioto's, and I drank some more vodka, and I had a great meal. They understand why I'm defending myself. You don't have to explain it to people who understand what freedom is. Now, what do I mean by that? They understand what freedom is. Let me give you an example. If you let these Obama thugs get away with it, they would seize restaurants that people built through 40 or 50 or 60 or 70 years of family hard work, and they would say the state now owns your restaurant. This was done in Cuba. Businesses were seized by the gangster brothers, the Castros, and they were taken away from people who had built businesses up over a 50-year period. They stole sugar plantations, they stole hotels, they stole restaurants, and they said, in the name of the revolution, we're taking your restaurant. And they turned it over to incompetent bureaucrats who could not run the restaurant. The restaurants became shabby. Eventually, they went out of business. Now, if they didn't actually shoot the restaurant owner or put him in a slave labor camp, they let him become a dishwasher in his own restaurant. And if you think I'm making this up, then you're an ignoramus. Then you're a bigger schmuck than even your wife thinks you are.